Hello Raw, welcome to the chat. We are playing Submarine Attack by Camden Town Games. This is the Mega Drive version. There is also an Amiga version. But yeah, so I believe this is a remake of an older arcade machine, and it's yeah, fairly decent game loop. So you've got to watch out for the depth charges, while also you get time bubbles from some of the things that you destroy. So I've got a limited amount of time, and so getting those time bubbles keeps me in the game longer. You know, as long as I don't get hit by depth charge. Oh, couldn't get that one because it was overlapping a overlapping one of the bullets. So Raw, when are we going to have a playable demo of Wings of Fear 2? Hi Maxwell, welcome to the chat. Oh, nearly got toasted. Oh. Oh, so is Wings of Fear 2 going to be a Emmy Game Jam entry? Oh well, that's yeah, that's great. I hope it does well. I really should try. Well, I really should enter Emmy Game Jam one year. I did attempt to do a project for it, but I didn't get very far with it. So I was working on the Lost Vikings 2 and Rodland for the one that was a sort of like a sequel game jam. Okay, so I'm almost out of time. I think the timer has stopped. Huh. Okay, I don't know if that's a bug or what, but yeah, we only have we have 15. Oops, I died anyway. Okay, so yeah, it looks like time just stops after a little while. Oh. Some issues with this high score table. It doesn't go in all four directions you'd expect. Oh, we've got top score. Hi Monos, welcome to the chat. You know, I'm gonna have actually I'm gonna have another game of Submarine Attack, but just to mix things up a bit, I'm gonna make a little edit to our Scorpion box and make it run the Amiga version. Alright, so it looks like maybe the title screen has a few more colors, I think, compared to the Mega Drive version. See what else is different. Yeah, it looks similar. I think it seems a bit smoother. Oh. Actually, I think it's running a little bit faster, which has definitely made it harder. I'm not sure why that is, because I'm assuming this would be running in PAL mode. Or maybe it is running in NTSC, I don't know. They should really add some sort of frame rate option to Scorpion Box, where you can say, you know, no matter what the game was designed for, you can just run it at any frame rate. Like even you know, like even completely esoteric frame rates, like I don't know, 120 hertz, if you happen to have a monitor like that. Oh man, I'm doing terribly. My strategy is to kind of make like a wall that they run into, but sometimes it just isn't very effective. So I typically just like release all of my depth charges in the same place. So it becomes like a wall or a net that it's hard for them to get it around, but sometimes they just slip through. One is asking what Scorpion Box is. So Scorpion Box is it's an emulator for everything basically. So it's very minimal configuration. It's really just designed to, you know, like run one. Well, you configure it to run one game, and so you can basically use it to release Windows versions of your game, no matter what platform you release it on. Whoops. Okay, I got a bit distracted there. And so what I have used this to do is I've basically used it to make a Windows version of um, Submarine Attack and the other game I'll be playing today. So there's very little options. Like I have got a volume option here, and if I go into the configuration for Scorpion Box, you can you know, so you can configure what emulator core. So I support 3 of them currently, which are PUAE. So that's like a generic version of WinUAE. Then you've got Blastem, which is a Mega Drive emulator, and Geolith, which is a Neo Geo emulator. I have experimented with some other cores, like I've managed to get the Doom engine to run on Scorpion Box, but it uses libretro, which is the libraries used by RetroArch under the hood, so that it will, yeah, I mean, it will pretty much emulate anything. Um, but again, like this is only really tested and supported for the platforms that Scorpion Engine exports to. Um, yeah, I don't think I really have anything else to say about it. So it is, fairly straightforward. Um, like the idea is you would, yeah, if you wanted to distribute your game for Windows, like on Edge or on Steam, then you basically use this as a emulation layer wrapper for your game. Um, and I mean, you could already do that with like a WinUAE or FSUAE, but this way it's well, for one thing, you can use it it supports all of Scorpion's target platforms. It's not just one system, and it's also, since it's very stripped down, it feels more like you are playing the game rather than the emulator. So it just opens at one game in a window. It doesn't sort of let you, or it doesn't sort of make you choose 100 different options for memory and CPU and which model, which ROM. All of that you configure in the config text so that the end user doesn't need to worry about it. They just get a copy of the game running on the target platform. And it is a very excuse me. It is a very early work in progress. It's also completely open source, so that anyone can get source code and do whatever they want with it. I think with some elbow grease. Well, I have managed to get it to work on Mac. I do need to release a version for Mac, but also it might theoretically be possible to use this for like Android, iPhone, Linux. Okay, so this game is a prototype. So it's not a demo; it's a prototype, and because it's a prototype, some things may be pretty broken. I think there's no actual audio for it. But this is Whispers of the Woods by HooGames, and so it's sort of like an action adventure Zelda sort of clone. But I haven't spent a lot of time playing it, so well, for one thing, because it's a prototype, maybe there's some breaking bugs here and there, and that's fine. It is a prototype. But the other thing is because I haven't really spent much time playing it, I'm sort of going in blind, so I'm likely to get lost or stuck. But we'll see how we go. Uh, okay, so that looks like the only sign I can read. Shattered sword lies hidden away. Its pieces are split into two parts. The first is near the lake with stones. Okay. The second lies at the graveyard. Bring both fragments back together. Watch out for the monsters. Okay, so that's good to know. So I don't have a sword, but I need to find the two parts of the sword while avoiding those monsters. Now there's um hmm. Well, I don't think the sword is in there. I mean, I know it has a stone. It doesn't really look like much of a lake. It kind of looks like a puddle. Where did the quest go? Okay. Well, that looks a little bit bigger. I don't think there's any. It's not really a lake. Can I open that chest? Oh, I think they maybe they gave me part of the sword. I think that one's stuck. Alright. We need to find the graveyard. And we need to find the quest giver. Well, here's the graveyard. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, I've got the pieces of the sword. It looks like I can't really do anything with them. Until, I don't know, maybe the quest giver puts them together? What did it say at the start about, bringing them together? Do I need to go all the way back to the start? Okay, so this is back to the start of the game. I got the 2 bits of the sword. Found both fragments. Shattered sword is now repaired. Sorry, the shattered sword is repaired now that it is whole once again. Oh, sweet. I love the Zelda thing. Oh, okay, and there's another. Read this. Loves in like cold power, you need 5 vials of their essence. Okay. Okay, so I gotta return to the after I get the vials. Oh, oh. 1, 2. I don't have a lot of health left. It's kind of cool how the enemies they have, well, they spawn repeatedly, but then they, oh, yeah, spawn repeatedly, but then they after a little bit they go back back into the ground. Okay, let's take this back to the sign. I thought I only needed 5. Maybe I need more than 5. Well, I'll fill up the vials counter. If you've played this and you know what I'm supposed to be doing, let me know. Yeah, well, I filled that up. I've got 8 of them. I'm sure that's got to be enough. Okay, so it was 8. I think it was just the font. I'd misread it. It said 8 rather than 5. Okay, so use this to sharpen my sword. Prepare for the next fight. Okay, so I got a better sword now. That's cool. You're going to tell me I can't go through here? Okay, so I need to find the quest giver. Looks like there's a house up there. I don't know how to get to that house. Okay, so I can't go through there. So explore the graveyard again. Okay, so there's a sign here I can look at. Tombstone with the key has appeared. The key lies with the roaming. Defeat them and claim the hidden key. The key glows with a faint aura. It bears a magical seal I must study before unlocking its secrets. Okay. Alright, so... was that it? Are there more keys? Let's try talking to that. You have defeated the skeletons. Among their remains lies a key. Its cold metal feels ancient and heavy. The magic seal is broken. I will try this key on the tombstone. What secrets will this key unlock? Okay, so which tombstone? That one? Oh. Okay, I see now. Now I'm glad I didn't it didn't make me start over. Okay, so I can go into there. Oh! Oh well, this is starting to look this is starting to look interesting. So I wasn't expecting there to be a like a dungeon in this prototype. Okay, so that gives us a key. Does that open that door? Or it probably opens the... Oh no, it does open this door. Oh. Oh, hang on. Crap. I did not mean to bring that up. I have not actually seen that before, so this is a... this is a feature of this is a feature of the UAE core that lets you type in, it's a virtual keyboard, so you can type in text without having a real keyboard. So you can, if you're playing this on a console, then, you could use this to, type in, whatever you need to type in. I did not realize it was actually active on Scorpion Box. I'm not actually sure what key I pressed to bring it up. I'm just going to see if I can find the key to show or hide it. Yeah, sorry, this is a bit embarrassing. I didn't know. My emulation front end even had a way of bringing up this keyboard. But I just have to try to find what the key is meant to be to dismiss it or bring it up. Oh, select. So what did I space on? Yeah. Okay. So. Okay, so let me get where it was. Okay, all right, so just space to bring up the keyboard. Don't hide the keyboard. So just the explanation about that is that uh in our configuration for Squawking Box, we have these keys set now. Uh, so it uses libretro under the hood, and libretro uses an abstraction based on the Super Nintendo controller. So these are all, these all map to the actual buttons on the Super Nintendo. So you got the four face buttons, um, and then you've got the left and the right, and the start and the select. Um, so no Amiga controller really has a select button, because the CD32 has mappings for the other ones, but not select, and so I think they decided by default if you use select on this UAE core, because it's not actually used for it's not on a real Amiga controller, we'll just make it bring up the virtual keyboard, which makes sense. If you decide that actually you don't want your user to have that function, I think you could just do that to the delete the ability to activate the uh, virtual keyboard. But yeah, so good to know that's actually working. Oh, right. I need to get oh get that other key. And then that will give me the. I hope that's the right key. I guess we will find out in a second. Oh, I was pushing the wrong button. That one. Oh no. Okay, I noticed my at the top left. So I mean, I've got like a heart counter. Um. Oh, did I walk straight into that skeleton? Yeah, top left. It looks like I've got a face, and that face is half grey. So I guess that's my life. So I mean, I assume that my hearts are like, that's the health I've got for my current life, and then if my face becomes too grey, I guess that's the end of the game. Whoop. Yep. Okay. I think I'm pretty close to death. Um. Yeah. Unfortunately, with this animation, I mean, it's a very nice animation. The sword swing is very like short, so it's a little bit hard to hit some things. But anyway, so I'll keep playing until I either die or reach the end of the demo. Can I open that door? I don't think I got a key for it. Did I miss a key? Maybe I did. Or maybe I'll... oh, no, I've got the green key. The green key is supposed to open something else. But I don't know. Maybe I've soft locked it because I died when I wasn't supposed to, and so that meant key doesn't work anymore. I don't know. I'll find out. As I've mentioned, it's not a proper demo. It is a prototype. Oh, okay. There's another door up there. That's interesting. Can I get into that one? No. Okay. So there are a few bugs with this. I think I might be stuck because I don't have the well, I have a key, but I've opened the key that it goes into, open the door it goes into, and I don't have the key for the door that I need to open, which I think maybe I did have the key and then, you know, because I died, I lost it and I ended up stuck with the wrong key. Unless I'm supposed to destroy the door, I don't know. Or maybe that skeleton has it? That area is conspicuously empty. I'll try to... No. Okay, so I think I'm stuck. So it's really a good time to leave the gaming portion of the stream. So, and it was so first game I played was Submarine Attack by Camden Town Games, and this was Whispers of the Woods prototype by HooGames. So for the workshop, I had a fan request, which was so uh, it wasn't sure how to use custom copper to paint background sprites. So that should be a fairly straightforward thing to do. It may not take too long, unless I run into unexpected glitches. Do let me know if there's any sort of, like, because this part of the workshop might not go so long. Let me know if you've got any custom requests for, um, something that I could cover how to do. Hi, Thermal Monkey. Welcome to the chat. So I just want a bit of context. So this is something that we had made on a previous demo, and so the question is, well, how do we make this into yeah, how do we add like a copper sky or some copper colors? Because these are so aside from our trees, which is part of the tile set, our background sprites have no sort of um have no copper color, have no copper gradient shading. So we need to add a new we're gonna add an empty background because we're not going to use OCS parallax, and we're not going to use like we're not going to use a regular copper sky that uses index 0 because the sprites are not on index 0. Well, index 0 as far as the sprite is concerned is transparency, but we actually want to paint on the sprite, so that's why we are not using a regular copper sky. And I'm just going to call this let's call this Amiga parallax, no, Amiga copper. Yeah, just call this Amiga copper. Now, if I think I might do these colors, or yeah, so these are the colors of the like the mountain, and so we've got like this the light area and the darker area, and so let's have a look. So that we start from color 6. No, we start from color 17, and we might as well make our guide use the whole. Actually, no, just for simplicity, I'm just going to say at first we start from 16. we definitely want AGA, just yeah, 24-bit copper, just to make it look nicer. I'll make sure we are okay. We are emulating an AGA machine. That's fine. And we want to edit the panel copper. So because we haven't got a panel copper already, it's going to ask us to create a guide. And so we want to be able to change any of the colors in the sprite range. So I'm going to go 16. Oh. No, that's weird. That may be bugged. Let's have a look. So did it? Okay, let's try changing copper sky. No, there is something weird here. That should have just worked. But nobody's reported any issues with it, so I don't know. What if I just go for 1? Well, if I change that, change it to empty part. Alright, so I might need to cheat a bit. So, okay, so... Oh, now I'm using the experimental version. I don't think I've changed anything in the experimental version that would have broken it. I could try switching back to the older version, but... No, that is a concern that it's not just working. Yes, I've gone back to 2025. Change that back to... Oh, I didn't... Yeah, okay, I need to set this to copper sky. Okay, no, that's interesting. So that didn't give me that error on the other one. It may be because I don't... Okay, so I think I will need to create an empty copper background. So I think I just... Yeah, because panels usually have images set to them, and because I had this one set as a empty background, then I'm supposed to have an image with it. And because I don't have an image with it, that's why it's getting confused, I think. But this is just going to be blank background. So if I go change image, okay, so I've got a basic copper sky, but it's it's black because I didn't want to change index 0 from being black. If I edit this now, what will happen? Okay, all right. So for some reason, there's a bug that didn't let me generate a guide when there was no background set. So that's something I need to fix for the experimental. In fact, now that I've added that background, will it just work if I go back to the experimental version again? And I'll change that to empty background. Oh, change it to empty background. We don't actually need background. Let's if I go edit panel topper. Okay, so that's there. So this is our guide for the colors. So let's get rid of these transparent ones. We don't actually need those. And then I guess we've got to try to work out yeah, what do we actually want to do with what sort of sort of gradient do we want? So I'll just have a look at what gradients we've got built into Paint Shop Pro. I do kind of like that one I selected just before because it does give like a kind of like a snow-capped mountain. And so what I will do, whoops, let's put new layer. Okay, so if let's resize that to be 16 wide. So that does give us a 224 by 16. That gives us a gradient. Whoops, I messed that up. Is that gonna... No, that is... I was resizing by percentages, but I wanted to resize for pixels. So let's get 16 wide, 224. Have we got snap to grid? We have got snap to grid. What happened there? Oh, because all right, yeah, because it is partly transparent. So let's put that to the bottom. So that's the light side of the mountain, and I might just darken it by a little bit to be the darker side of the mountain. And yeah, definitely not an artist, so this is just sort of to demonstrate what what we can do is for creating gradients. Now I'll do a little bit more cleanup here. I'll get rid of that one. Also get rid of this black, and the reason for that is because we don't actually need to change that color. I will leave those ones in there, but for now that's ready for testing. So for my map, I will need to set my background as media copper. And yeah, let's see what happens. Hi, Pridsada. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, okay, so that's that is basically what we expected. I mean, it's not a, it's sort of not a fantastic use of color, but all we really wanted to do is demonstrate that it works. So we've got we've got a ton of color on that mountain. So that's only a 3-color sprite, but because of the gradient, we've basically got a different color, or two different colors on every line. I suppose while we're at it, we might as well do something with the sky background. So let's Oh, I see now. Okay, so we reuse, so that cloud color we reused for the lower part of the sky. So what I'm gonna do is get rid of that. I want to make the sky all one color, just the moon and the clouds are separate colors. I need to find a good let's make that a bit wider, so I sort of have like a reference. Right. Now we need to find a good like a good cloud, or not a good cloud, a good sky gradient. If there's like a twilight sort of texture, oh, that one's kind of interesting. I'm not sure if I like the tinge of blue at the top. Red orange, it's maybe a little bit too much. You know, I'm just gonna go with this one because yeah. Yeah, no, as I said, I'm not so sure about the blue tinge, but I mean it looks all right here. So um now the thing about this 24-bit copper sky on the on this AGS sprite background, now for most Amiga games you would typically use like index 0 for the the sky background, but because we put it on the sprite itself, because the sprite itself has the sky baked into it as one of its main colors, we can simply paste it there like that. And then if I run that, Predsator, Lemon Amiga says Amiga is great. I agree. Oh, yeah, sorry, you have to forgive me for I was supposed to I didn't actually save my change to the image. So let's do that again. Pritzita said it is 10 p.m. here, so it's a great time to watch some of Eroc's magic. Oh wow. I do rather like that sky. But yeah, we're gonna go all the way. We've got to have the clouds as well. So we need to find a good we need to find a good gradient for the clouds, and we might as well do the moon as well. So what I will do is I'll create a new layer. You have to forgive me for using Paint Shop Pro rather than something that everybody else uses like Photoshop or a sprite or ProMotion NG, but this is something that I've always used, and so this is what I'm used to. What's going to be a good one for the clouds? I might use that metallic silver for the moon. I should have used that one for the background, Northern Lights. That would have been neat. But what's that one going to look like if I do that and then I put that? Yeah, I guess that will do. So let's do. Whoops. Let's set the tolerance to 0 and put that in there. Mixwell says anything greater than Photoshop, boo, Adobe. Yeah, that's fair. Totally fair. Um, now we wanted to, yeah, as I said, we wanted to go all the way with this. So let's uh, um, let's do something for the moon layer. So let's find something that I think I said let's try a metallic. Metallic silver. Yeah, let's see how that. Whoops. Let's see how that looks if I do it like that. It's a bit weird. It makes it look like the Death Star. May not be a bad thing necessarily. What if I just paste into there? No. I'll try to find something a little bit less extreme. Or metallic chrome, because that's just. Does that look like at the top? Yeah, that's a lot more subtle. I'm going to run with that. And this bit here we're not going to see because we don't use that color down that low. And yeah, let's give that a try. Yeah. There is something weird there. I don't know if you can sort of see that around the middle. It might be just I'm sort of pushing too many colors, too many AGA colors. Um, if it's not, if it doesn't have time to change the entire palette. But that's, or maybe my colors are just a little bit different between Looks as if you had that when I put too many next to each other. Yeah, that's fair enough. So I think, so if I change it, if I turn off AGA, well, sorry, turn off 24-bit, then you know, we get a lot of color banding. We sort of lose that really nice blending, but we don't get that bug. And so I'll just sort of hit a limit here with changing all of these colors. And with 24-bit colors, it uses at least twice as many copper moves, sometimes up to 4 times as many copper moves, because it just because of a weird way how the AGA chipset works is we can't just say um color 64 is this and that. We've got to change the pointer to the palette. So we say, okay, we're not updating colors 0 to 31 anymore. We're updating colors 64 to 91. And then we can say, okay, well, we're doing the top 16 bits or the bottom, so the top 12 bits or the bottom 12 bits. Hi, Dexter. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, we'll just a topic of today's workshop was just the gradients on background, 24-bit gradients. But that's basically done now. And we're not even an hour into the stream. I normally go for an hour and a half. We'll show off something I did recently that I was quite happy with. It does need a bit of work. But so Halo Zero I sort of dusted off for the first time in maybe a month or so, and one thing the PC original had was sort of like an alpha steam effect. Like there's a broken pipe and it's blowing steam through it, and the steam rotates and fades out. And so replicating that all on Amiga is not so easy because you don't really have a concept of alpha on bitplane. So you can do bitplane effects, but I'm only working with such a small number of colors. I couldn't really get away with it. And then also, like, the rotation, you would need to you would need to manually rotate everything. But I'll show you what I have done. So this is I just did this last night. So we have Steam. We have Steam on Amiga, in fact. And yeah, so um, I, I was hoping people would look at this and sort of get the illusion of, well, there's we've actually got rotation, like real time rotation and that alpha fading. Um, but no, it's all trickery. So what we did was, let's find the pipe animation. There's a pipe steam. So you see, this is just a straight animation. So I very painstakingly um, well, I created 4 frames that were just that. So each I would have each of the the steam particles rotated and then faded out a little bit, and it'll go up a bit further, and then when it gets to here, that one at the bottom would become the second one, and then then it would spawn in a new one in the animation. I found it wasn't very smooth, so what I did is I created intermediate frames where it is just every second frame is just the first one moved up and faded a little bit. And so that it just makes it a little bit smoother. So that's that's what the animation looks like. Well, that's what the animation looks like natively. There's a lot more than 16 colors here, and so it just lets Scorpion work out, okay, well, which of the map colors, the 16, where are we? If I edit the custom palette. Thanks, Mixels. Thanks, Ruler. But yeah, so for the level palette, we've only sort of got those 16 colors there. And so when it's doing the alpha fade, it just picks the best approximate match. Um, I have not actually tested these on Mega Drive and Neo Geo yet, so I might give that a real quick test. Oh, active planet, active pipe. Oh dear. Okay, so that is that's one thing I'm going to need to fix. Okay, because my Mega Drive version has additional actors that the Amiga version didn't. And so, okay, so if that's tile ID 15. So I just need to rearrange some things. So pipe, that should be 15. And then on my map, I will need to edit this map so that the pipes are in that position. Actually, I think only one of these pipes is broken, so we can add the steam to the other one. Find this pipe. Let's put that there. And I'll check that this works on Mega Drive, then I'll check that it works on Neo Geo. I don't know if there's anything else that anybody wanted to needed a bit of help with understanding. Oops. Let's find my emulator. We blast them. Yep. So it also looks good on Mega Drive. That is good to know. Hi Richard, Rick, welcome to the chat. Yes, I did. I can go back to that in a second. But yeah, it didn't take that long to get get the palette changes in. So but what I'm doing just now is I'm just testing my oh, just testing my Steam effect, making sure that I've already tested that it works on Mega Drive. I just need to check that it works on Neo Geo, and then I will go back to the copper demo. Oops. Let's try that again. It might be just because I hadn't compiled it for. Well, I didn't have a compiled version for Neo Geo in the main folder yet. But if I compile it a second time, maybe it will be better. Yeah, okay, so it was just a little bit I just need to be run a second time to get that initial copy into the main folder. Yep, and Steam is working fine on Neo Geo. We could possibly optimize it. Well, in the future, we'll be able to optimize this a bit on Neo Geo because Neo Geo has a built-in system for auto-animating 8-frame animations. That's a lot quicker than it's much faster than doing it with the CPU like I'm doing it currently. But that's yeah, I come back to that later. Hi Ted Zog, welcome. So I was just testing the my new Steam effect for Halo Zero on the Mega Drive, Neo Geo platforms. What I was working on earlier was a copper changes for parallax backgrounds for Amiga Sprite AGA backgrounds, so we're basically making a full screen parallax out of a couple of giant sprites. And yeah, so that's what we came up with. There is a little bit of a glitch in the middle there, and I think that's just because it's so many color changes to do in the scan line. We didn't quite it doesn't quite have the time to do it. I don't know if it'd be any better if we move it way over to the right hand side, if that would improve things. No, not really. Yeah, I think it's just so many color changes. We're sort of pushing the limit of what the copper can handle, and so that is why we get that sort of smudge there. But if we were a bit more conservative with our color changes, that wouldn't be an issue. So all we really did, so we made an Amiga. Well, we created an empty background. I did have to assign an image to it, and that's just a glitch with the experimental version, but I assigned a empty image as our, as our background color, which is just black, because we're not actually going to be changing that color 0. We can't really do any 24-bit effects with that, so we just leave that as it is. Then I set the first copper to 16, and when I clicked edit panel copper the first time, it come up saying how many colors did you want to do, and so we typed in 16. But now, because we've already done that, we click that, it comes up with that, or with. Oh, in fact, it's not difficult just to do it again. So since I've taken that away, if I go edit panel copper, it will ask how many colors do I want to use, and I'll go 16, and that's created the guide, and it's opened it up, and so we've got our colors here that these sprites use by default, and we can just delete these ones we don't need, and then all I did last time was my color program, I just pasted in each of the gradients. But yeah, this video is going to be on video on demand for a while, and it is going to be on YouTube, so you can watch this from the start. All right, so got another 10-20 minutes left. Does anyone have any suggestions for anything else they would like to learn, or they're not sure about, or even just a quick challenge? Am I able to do this or that with Scorpion? Retro Recast, can you only change the sprite colors, or you can change the main palette with color? No, you can change any color. So we just happen to say, we start from 16, and then we change this range of 16. But we can do this for any color. It doesn't need to be just those sprite colors. Rhetoric says my use case is to increase colors in the background tiles. I mean, you'll be able to do this exact same, this exact same method for background tiles. In fact, we could do that real quick. So if we if we want to add a bit of shade to those trees, so let's let's edit that tile set. I just need to find out what color tile set image. So if I go down to what is that in RGB? 16805. So we need to work out which one that is. 16805. Okay, so that's only color 1. So let's get rid of that. Let's say we only want to update that tree color. Then all we need to do is we just say, okay, well, the first copper is 1, and we just want to edit one color. And then let's use something a bit extravagant so that we can, see these are different. So let's use that garish red-orange. So I have taken out the background colors from the palette. So I've taken out the sprite background colors from the palette. All I've changed is the trees, and they yeah. I mean, we can see it. It's not a very noticeable effect. I think just because the gradient is very smooth and it's covering the whole screen. So let's use that metallic one that was a bit haphazard, and I might flip that so the more extreme bit is down the bottom there. Yeah, so you can see that's how we can add more colors to any part of the palette. So we can take any one color and then say this is a different color on every single scan line. But we want to be a bit we may want to be a bit conservative with that. So we may want to just reserve like 3 or 4 colors instead of doing like the entire palette every scan line, because the copper can't really handle that. Now actually going back to, there was one other thing I wanted to show, which was so I've added mouse support to Scorpion Box. Rhetoric says you would need to organize your level tiles with good horizontal breaks to change the palette there and add extra depth tiles. Yeah, that's I guess that's the thing. You would need to make sure that that your tile set was arranged in such a way that it that it took that vertical color alignment into account. But yeah, so with mouse support in Scorpion Box is a work in progress, but I'm reasonably happy with how it's working out. It works a bit differently to, like, with WinUAE, for example. It usually would lock the mouse, but you can just use it like any other sort of Windows application. The one problem is that the cursor can get a bit misaligned, but if you take the cursor to one of the extremes, then it will align it, and you can just comfortably use that within the confines of the window. The other thing is we don't really have multiple mouse support. Although maybe, no, I don't know if we really can support multiple mice like the Amiga can, but maybe that's something to come back to in future. Rhetoric is like, instead of having one highlight color for all tiles, you'd have the level built with distinct horizontal portions. You could really create much deeper looking levels. Yeah, I agree. And so I think it's one of these things. If you plan out your palette and your tiles really well, you should be able to make it shine. I suppose especially for games like I think with Wardener, that you're working on, I think it's only horizontal scrolling. I think there's no vertical scrolling, so that itself makes it a bit easier to have these to use the copper to add a bit more color to the a bit more color to the tile set. With Castlevania AGA, which also uses copper to expand the palette, that does have vertical scrolling, but the parallax backgrounds where he does the copper gradients, he doesn't scroll those vertically. He only scrolls them horizontally. So that still works. Um, yeah, I can't really think of anything else to show on stream, so it's a little bit shorter than my streams normally go for, but I think this might be a good place to call it quits. Hi Flibble, welcome to the chat. Just about to leave. Let's see who we can raid. Well, this ought to be interesting. So, someone is trying to speedrun Shadow of the Beast on Amiga Run. So let's yeah, okay, so someone is trying to beat Shadow of the Beast, so that will be a that will be interesting. So I will raid them as soon as my Mac starts playing up. It stops playing up. Oh. I don't know why my Mac freezes up whenever I try to raid someone. So I've got I use a second machine for my yeah, use my Mac for managing watching chat and doing the raids, but it always goes really slowly when I'm uh, trying to raid someone. Okay, I hope the raid worked. I have no idea since my Mac is going very slowly, but yep. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time.